The one and only Holly Holm is standing by. Holly, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm so sorry for keeping you waiting. Yoel was just opening his heart there, and I didn't want to cut him off, so I apologize for that.
I didn't mind
Congrat-
listening to him.
What's that?
I didn't mind listening to him.
Okay, yes, he is captivating when he speaks. There's no doubt about it. Congratulations and welcome back home. To me, initially when I was watching that fight, Holly, it was like, wow, that woman is really big. Megan Anderson is really big compared to Holly Holm, and of course, you figured it out. But have you ever been in a fight where you felt like there was that much of a size disadvantage?
She's very big, and even a little. She actually did seem a little bigger in person. I knew she would be tall. I have a lot of teammates that are her height, and so I worked with them a little bit, and then you also wonder if the stats really are what they are, because sometimes they say people are taller or shorter than they really are. Like, no, she really is 6 foot, maybe even a little taller. But I had one opponent that I fought in boxing that she was 6 foot tall as well, and Sophie Matisse, and she actually is she knocked me out. Like, she's the one boxer that really, she knocked me out cold, and then I went back for the rematch. So there was a lot of things I was thinking going into a fight with a bigger girl. Is that it's not just, I didn't have very good luck the first time around with the first one, but I knew what I needed to change when I went in for the second fight with her, and I took some of those things from that fight and used them as positive thoughts and what I had learned from it for this fight. I think that helped prepare me a little bit, but it's still a different game from boxing to MMA, especially with somebody bigger, because there's the clinch game and the wrestling and the grappling is a little bit different because you're not dealing with that in boxing, obviously. But, it was everything kind of went how we had prepared to be ready for. I really didn't think that I would be going for, 4 takedowns. I thought, well, maybe I'll take her down once if it works out, and not that I hadn't thought to take anybody down in my fights before. It's just that maybe I didn't really just let it go. My coaches are always telling me, Holly, you can take these girls down. Like, you do it in practice all the time. And, sometimes I don't think you put enough confidence in yourself for that stuff because you've learned so much. And I think I just finally let myself know that wherever it goes, I can deal with it. And that's just kind of where the fight wound up going. And I thought, you know what, let's go ahead and try and, just see how far I can go with this, how much we can do with this. I didn't want to do anything stupid, get reversed and get underneath or anything like that. So I wanted to play it good and be smart about it as well and not get overly anxious, because it's not like I've been in that position in a fight before ever.
In that moment, like when you're taking her down and you're taking her down successfully, this has to be, I know you're not really, reveling in it in the middle of the fight, but now in the aftermath, for the boxer who had been sort of talked about as this one trick pony, the kickboxer, right? You didn't have, this has to be a major, a major feather in your cap, right? You have to be, and I can't imagine how your wrestling coach, Israel Martinez, felt about the whole thing, but this has to be something that you're really proud of, right? As far as like an accomplishment in a fight, what you set out to do, a bigger opponent and dominate her like that with your wrestling, that has to be a huge deal for you, right?
It feels very good. I think that a lot of times, people, I always talk about how nervous I get before a fight, and it's not because I'm worried about getting hurt, it's I'm worried about losing, and most fighters, I've never heard fighters say anything different, but it's one of those things that you train so hard, and it's the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen when you get in there. It's a crazy feeling, and, I've heard a lot of people say, just believe in your training, you do it every day, it's going to be second nature, and I kind of tried to really embrace those thoughts for this. If it's going to get into these positions, just have confidence and believe in my training. I do it in practice all the time. Why can't I do it, in a fight? And so as soon as I was in those positions, I thought, what, I'm going to go for this. This is something I would do in practice at this point. So I'm just going to do it right now and let my training kind of take over. I believe in it, and I'm just going to do it.
I was thinking of a line that Daniel Cormier said recently when talking about Volkan Ozdemir, and he said that there are levels to this game. And I'm not trying to knock Megan, but it felt to me like this was an example of that. your resume, your time in combat sports, that kind of came out in this fight, that
Mhm.
maybe taking a fight against you on 18 months, after a layoff of 18 months, and considering even without the layoff, but considering the the difference in the resume and the time that you've spent
Mhm.
competing, it kind of came out that she's not on your level. Did you feel the same way?
You know, I feel that every fighter has a chance to win any fight, because any punch can end a fight. But I I know that I've been in there and I've been in some battles with, five folks about me. You know that she hasn't been in a fight like that before, so I thought, that sometimes that, gives that little extra edge that I know I've experienced it before, but that doesn't mean that she hasn't had, some fights of her own. And I just kind of, she has a hard right hand and those long punches. If you stand in front of a train, the longer, like the more time there is, the faster it's going, right? It's not that fast like when it first takes off. And that's kind of how it is with long reach punches. By the time they get to the very end of their punch, they can actually have, a lot of power on them. So there's certain things that were to fear from her, but I knew that I would be able to adapt to the fight because of ring experience that I have had, and I did feel confident in that. And just coming in, a lot of people talk about UFC jitters or nerves or things like that, and I don't really feel like she really let it get to her. I feel like she was very calm and collected, so I feel like there were a lot of things that she did well coming in as far as, really feeling that she belonged there and being on that level, but I do think that I'm a different fighter than she's faced for sure, and during the fight, I felt the strength, and even though she's a lot taller person, I mean, technique goes with strength as well. And I've been working a lot on that. Not trying to just overpower things, but to use my strength and skill to even be stronger. And I could kind of feel that in the fight. Um, but that doesn't mean that she's not a very game opponent. And I'm actually, I'm excited to see what she might be able to do in her future and who she might be able to fight next.
Did you say anything to her afterwards?
She was in there when I was in my post-fight press conference and everything, and after I was, she was listening to everything about it, and of course they're asking everything that you did good in the fight and everything that you thought they did bad. And she sat there and watched, and while I talked, and I just went up to her and said, "Hey, thank you." It was a pleasure to fight with her, and she's definitely a stand-up person, very cordial, very just motivated and wants to do well. And there's nothing personal there, nothing bad. And she said, the same. So we actually, um, everything's fine. It was very cordial after, very sportsmanlike and very professional. We're just there to do our job.
Okay. Is it possible, Holly, that this was your best performance since the Ronda fight? In other words, your second best performance in the UFC? It feels that way to me, but I'm wondering what you think.
I feel like it was maybe the most, probably had the most flow. You train for a fight, you don't know exactly how it's going to go. Um, every fight's different, though, and every fight presents its own thing. I think I had a lot. I think that if I was the fighter I am now, obviously fighting against when I lost my belt to Misha, I think that it would have been a whole different fight. Obviously, 2 years ago, and so 2 years of learning on my end. And so I don't feel like my performance was really that great in the street fight and go to church and go fight. And um, a lot of the stuff we actually had planned, with some of the stuff we did in the fight, not that we're wanting to take down that much, but just kind of fighting a taller person. Some of the stuff we worked on, I didn't do in my fight with Durandame and but then the back career fight was we should be frustrated, and that fight kind of went how we thought it would. We just wanted to be patient, so she got frustrated and picked a good shot. So that fight still went how we thought it might be. Um, But it still wasn't a very, I probably could have done it a little sooner. And yeah, smaller fight, it's probably a little harder to dominate someone like Cyborg. So I guess they're just different fights. But this fight definitely, I felt more focused and was able to put more of, everything that I've been learning into together. But I think it's just been an accumulation of learning over my last fights for sure.
I asked you before the fight about being back in Chicago and just going through all of that. In the locker room, were you getting flashbacks? What was it like? Did you even think about it at all the last time you were there?
I actually didn't think about that, that I had lost there before. I wasn't thinking that at all. Um, Actually, some of the things that I was thinking in the locker room were, we had a lot of, so, Alistair's come down in Albuquerque for the last part of his, for the majority of his camp and everything. And he's a teammate. And so, we were in the locker room together, and Andre used to be with our team, but he's still a good friend. And Clay Guida, that's actually how I even met Izzy, because Clay used to be part of our team and brought Izzy down. And same with Rashad. Rashad used to be part of the team. And these are, some people leave, and it's never really on bad terms, but some people leave and you don't really keep in touch anymore. But all these fighters actually they're friends of mine, like pretty, like good friends. Not just the teammates that come and go that we never really connected, but the whole card was filled with people that, and Sergio Pettis, obviously, he works with Izzy, and I don't know him as well. He's never really been like, or he came down for a little bit for one fight camp before, but just to train a little bit. But, Clay's become a really good friend. Rashad was, he was a really good friend. Andre's a good friend, and Alistair's a good friend. And even though they don't like to talk to each other, but
Yeah.
but through the night, it was kind of like heartbreak after heartbreak. Sergio had his win, but gosh, it was Clay getting tapped out and Rashad getting knocked out, and Andre, going all the way to the third and then having it go the way it does, and then Alistair having his fight in that way. And I just was thinking, because that'll like weigh on your heart. These people these people are good people to me, and I know their heart aches. Yes, I want them to be healthy, but I know more inside what really hurts after losing a fight is your heart. And I was just thinking, you know what, we got to turn this train around. We're not going down this path anymore. We're going to finish this. We need to finish this with a victory. That was what I was thinking. I wasn't really thinking, I've lost in Chicago before. I didn't want to think about my loss and then all the other, I didn't want to be like in negative thoughts. I was just trying to turn anything that was happening into a positive thought, and just, I think that's the most that I was thinking before I walked out. Let's turn this around. Let's get a win, and let's finish this night off strong.
And initially, I thought, man, it's kind of weird timing that they would announce that Ronda Rousey is going to the Hall of Fame right before Holly Holm's fight. But maybe that put you in the right mindset. Maybe that gave you a little extra push. Did you notice that at all while you were in the locker room?
Um, I only watched the fights of the team. I didn't really actually watch that. They were talking about that. Somebody said something like in the locker room. I heard somebody say, "Oh, Ronda's in the Hall of Fame," and I thought, "Oh, okay." And I just kind of, I didn't even think about it. And then after the fight, everybody was asking me about it with media, and that's when I actually realized I actually didn't watch that part before I went out. So I didn't even, to be honest with you, that was like my head was in space when that was happening. I didn't even really realize that she was being inducted until after the fight. I don't even know if I heard her name being said or I saw a clip of her face on the TV in the back, but I was warming up and I didn't really even get, because my mind was just on the fight so much.
Okay, fair enough. And that is probably for the
Like I
best.
didn't realize that was what was happening until after the fight.
Okay. What do you have any thoughts on that? Usually you get inducted a little later on.
Mhm.
That's how most sports go, and this one's a
Um,
little different.
I feel like I'm proud of her. I'm happy for her. I know that she was a dominant champion for a long time. So however they do things something positive rather than negative. The only thing that really gets to me is negative news. So I don't really. Uh, it might be later. It might be. I don't really know how they go about picking it, but um, I don't have anything, you know, controversial or different or negative to say about it. I think that she did a lot, and she's what a household name is through what she's done through the sport. So she deserves recognition for that.
And now I'm just curious, Holly, moving forward, it feels like you have the pick of the litter here. Am I incorrect in thinking that if left it up to you, that Amanda Nunes would be next? I know she tweeted you. I know you've been asked about this, but 2 days later, is that what you would like to pursue?
You know, I'm going to get with my team, talk to them, see what they think. I always like to see what they think, going forward. Go back to 135, stay at 145. I don't know, just kind of put my thoughts together there. It takes me a minute to kind of decompress from a fight. Some people get really excited. Oh, this is what I want next. As soon as the fight is over, some fighters are calling out their next opponent, and I really like to sit down and digest and just take in everything that happened, what I learned from this whole journey for this fight camp, and things that I want to take with me, things that I want to leave behind. And I literally, right as I sat down to talk with you, I literally just got home this morning and unpacked my bags and laid down to put my compression boots on right as I'm sitting here, and I'm just kind of taking it all in. I don't really have this real goal of where I, want to force anything to go. I kind of want to take it in stride day by day and just kind of see what my team thinks. I'm sure we'll talk about it this week. I kind of just disappeared from my phone and everything yesterday. Hung out with friends and family that I love very much that went to support me, and I just kind of let myself just not think about fighting for a day or two, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. So we'll see what happens. But it's hard not to want to get my 135-pound belt back. That's kind of as far as I've really, really thought into it. So we'll see what happens.
And I 100% appreciate and respect your honesty there. I'm just curious, how do you like when you get home now for the next week? What does Holly Holm like to do to decompress after a big win like that? Is there a go-to thing, or is it always different?
um, I like to. There's probably um, there's quite a few friends and I mean, some family is in and out, but I have to kind of say no to a lot of things that are fun leading up to a fight, and I kind of go back and just touch base and just kind of do those things that I had to say no to, whether it be coffee with a friend that we don't ever really get to do daytime coffee if I'm in the middle of training. Maybe it's going to be, sometimes on a Saturday morning. One of my favorite things to do is my girlfriends and I will just get together, and instead of going out to a restaurant where we're worried about being at someone's, table too long, or even more, more so, or being too loud, we just like to go to a friend's house and sit on the patio and have a couple of mimosas and make some brunch and just chit chat and just decompress and slow down the pace of life for a little bit on a Saturday, and just nobody's watching the clock and just hang out. And this life is, especially with how everything is, if I even think how life is now compared to what it was before, when there wasn't even cell phones, there's so much task at hand that even when you're driving in your car, you're already doing 10 different phone calls, or when you get home, you're talking with, different things, or trying to organize certain things. And everywhere you go, you're constantly in contact, constantly moving. And I feel like life is on a busier, type of schedule than it ever was before. And so sometimes it's nice to just, even though it's just one day, just we'll go for a little workout on a Saturday morning, and then none of us, we just go in our yoga pants, sit on a porch, and just chit chat. Maybe even sit there in silence. We just have their company there. And that's something that we love to do. But on my normal Saturdays, I'm out doing sprint runs. So as soon as the fight's over, I look forward to that a lot.
Sounds like a good life. Enjoy it. I
Thank
appreciate the
you.
time very much, especially right off the plane here, Holly. Thank you so much for the time. And again, congratulations on a masterful performance, and it was so cool afterwards. Everyone giving you props. I was seeing, some of my colleagues even saying like Holly Holm is just too nice for MMA. Your post fight interview was almost as enjoyable as the fight itself. It really is a pleasure to
Well,
cover you and to watch you
I
compete.
appreciate you very much. Thank you. And it's always a pleasure to talk with you, Ariel. And thank you for all the time that you've given to, bring me on the show and as well as all the other fighters out there. So we appreciate you very much.
Thank you, Holly. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Enjoy your time off, and again, congratulations on the big win.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.